Okay, kid, settle down now. You asked me about reconciliation the other day.
Yeah, it's because we're learning about it in our social studies class right now.
Well then, for tonight's story, let's talk about Tsawwassen Mills. It is the perfect example of reconciliation through real estate. Now, do you remember the other day we were in Tsawwassen and we had those delicious Montana ribs?
Oh, yeah, I love their corn biscuits. But what does reconciliation have anything to do with real estate?
Well, let me begin the story, my dear, and you will find out why. Tsawwassen Mills is among one of the top 5 largest malls in BC. Do you remember the first couple largest malls that we talked about?
Mom, how could I forget? There's Park Royal in West Van, Metropolis at Metrotown, and also Amazing Brentwood in Burnaby that we talked about the other day. So, Tsawwassen Mills is 4th in size?
Indeed, my dear. It opened in 2016 and is home to more than 200 shops and restaurants with every kind of stores you can imagine. The mall was also developed by Ivanhoe Cambridge, the same developer who used to develop Oak Ridge Mall, and Simon Property Group, and they are 2 of the largest shopping mall developers in the world.
What?
Now, here is where reconciliation across real estate starts by way of treaty negotiation. A treaty is a negotiated agreement that sets out clearly defined rights and responsibilities between First Nations and the federal and provincial government. It is a full and formal expression of reconciliation. In 1973, our government started treaty negotiation period with the Tsawwassen First Nations. It took 30 years for the negotiation to complete. But to the people of Tsawwassen First Nation, the lengthy time is worth it, since without the treaty, it's hard to determine ownership of the land and who has a right to build on it.
So, treaty making and discussing about the land is the government's way of building relationships and thus to carry out reconciliation with the First Nations?
You got it, smart cookies? So now you see, from a real estate perspective, treaty means everything to Tsawwassen First Nations people.
Then where does Tsawwassen Mills, the mall, come into picture?
Well, before the mall was built, Tsawwassen area was primarily an industrial area for shipping and transportation. Because of its proximity to Delta Port and ferry terminal, there were no commercial stores there and mostly occupied by manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution centers. Over time, the area had become somewhat run down, and many of the older industrial buildings needed redevelopment. Tsawwassen Mills was part of a larger effort to revitalize the neighborhood. The mall's development was approved by Tsawwassen First Nations and the Canadian government together. The mall's developer worked closely with Tsawwassen First Nations to ensure that the project was culturally appropriate and respectful of the local indigenous heritage. And the opening of the mall has since become a major economic driver, attracting other new businesses and visitors, which also helped bring prosperity to the local communities surrounding.
Let me guess. You're saying as the mall attracted more shoppers, other major real estate development projects followed. Am I right?
Bingo! In 2010, Tsawwassen First Nations, the federal and provincial government jointly funded a $9 million servicing project near Delta Port Way, representing the first step towards unlocking the economic potential in the area.
Whoa, 9 million?
Yeah, in 2011, new neighborhood plan designated 110 hectares for commercial and residential development, providing necessary future tax base for the local government. And since then, a series of real estate development projects took place. In 2012, Aquilini Development partnered with First Nations on its groundbreaking master community plan called Tsawwassen Shores. featuring 550 new homes through a mix of single-family, townhouses, and condos. Now, real estate projects like this will not be possible without treaty agreements.
Mom, that covers a huge land.
In 2017, Aquilini Development built Pelican Cove, a family-oriented waterfront community that offers townhouses with panoramic views of the ocean and the mountains. And these developments are all prepaid leaseholds.
Wait, what does prepaid leasehold mean in real estate sense?
Well, prepaid leasehold means the user of the land has a right to occupy the space for a fixed period, and normally it is a 99-year long.
Ah, with a mall this big and comprehensive, who wouldn't want to live nearby?
That's right, my dear. The mall and all of these real estate development projects are part of a larger revitalization effort called the Tsawwassen Revitalization Plan.
Revitalization plan? What's the exact goal for this plan?
Well, this plan was initiated and developed by the local government, Tsawwassen First Nations, real estate developers, and community organizations. The goal of the plan was to bring new economic activity and growth to the region, while also preserving the area's natural and cultural heritage. And don't forget, the plan also included infrastructure upgrades, including improvement of roads, utilities, and public transportation, along with the redevelopment of the Tsawwassen ferry terminal.
There seems to be a common theme here. Infrastructure and development go hand in hand when it comes to community building.
That's right, my dear. And do you know what other factors that also contribute to major city development?
What, Mom? Tell me.
Well, stay tuned for tomorrow's bedtime stories and we will continue. If you have a property and looking to cash out in the Tsawwassen Mills area, we have developers ready to buy.